字が綺麗。
Okay, I agree with this.
本当？人とぶつからない。
Oh yeah!
テレパシーができる。いや、わからん。今日は外国人が驚く日本人が得意なことについて話してみるよ。
Let's find out!
こんにちは、全人類と友達になるところというミスターウィです。そして
これです。
花です。
青です。
ブーンです。今日のテーマは外国人が驚く日本人が得意なこと。
話上手ですね。
日本語上手ですね。
日本語上手ですね。
ありがとうございます。当たり前じゃん。みんなと話していたら、これなんで日本人こんな普通にできちゃうのこれがっていう話が何個かあったんですよね。
True.
でそれを、インターネットとみんなの意見取り入れて今日まとめてきたんで、どういうことなのかっていうのを説明してもらえたらなと思います。
Cool.
はい、それでは行ってみましょう。1個目、
Yes.
カラオケが上手。
自分の自慢？
僕は上手。どういうこと？海外の人はあんまカラオケっていうか歌が上手じゃないってこと？
っていうか、そもそもカラオケないからさ、練習する場さえもない。少なくともルーマニアはね。
車とかシャワーの中で。
True. It's clearly do it. Yeah, it's kind of a gray area for me because Philippines is very, very famous for karaoke. We're really good at karaoke, but I would say the average American, if you're not Asian, don't go to karaoke as much.
Yeah.
あ、そうなんや。
From what I observe is that Japanese typically likes to sing. I mean, compared to my Malaysian or people from Hong Kong or something, I don't often hear they say they like to sing.
そうなの？
Right.
日本人比べると。
I think there's like a weird like gendered thing about it where it's like if you're a guy and you like to sing, it's like, oh, you must be some like a
Flower boy.
flower boy.
Less
You're
masculine.
not a manly man if you
Yeah.
sing.
何？
You're a theater kid.
フラワーボーイって何？
Oh, I don't know. You're just like a girly guy.
あー、お花が好きな男の子みたいな。
La 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 la, I like to sing kind of thing. That's
Yeah.
だから隠してる感じがな。
歌が好きでも一定以上の上手さだったらすごい認められるってことなの。今ではもうジャスティン・ビーバーもじゃあアッシャーとかも
Yeah.
めっちゃかっこいい人っていうイメージなわけでしょ。
Okay.
Yeah, well, I feel like there definitely is like a split along like the gender line there because I feel like these singers have a lot of female fans. Right?
Yeah, they have a lot of female
そう
fans.
なんや。
Yeah, and like I feel like a lot of men, if they're gonna listen to music, they like hip hop or like like sports,
Hip hop, rap, or
Baseball,
like,
or like
yeah.
hard shit.
Mhm.
Like
日本はカラオケで歌うまかったら男からも女からもすごいってリスペクトされる。
そうですよ。
Right.
リスペクトするよ。
yeah.
ありがとうございます。
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's absolutely a great thing. I feel like more people should sing because it's probably good for you.
Yeah, for you to express your emotions.
Like
Absolutely.
in my experience, the people I've sang karaoke with, besides this group, a lot of them don't really sing on key, but they sing on tempo. In my experience, like they get like all of like the hard like beats. Like I would sing Otto with some of my friends, and they would not. Of course, you can't reach Otto's notes, but they would do it like right on tempo, like as a song. So it didn't like steer away from like the original composition of the song. And so the amount of people I've went to karaoke with and they were on tempo is a lot.
Right. Like there's been times where I go to karaoke with my friends and like they bring their girlfriend or something like that along, a Japanese girlfriend or something. And they're like, oh, I don't really want to go to karaoke, but then they start singing and they're so good.
Yeah.
Why? Like, if you're that good at it, why don't you want to go? It just seems like everyone is by standard, like jozu. So it's like that's the starting point, right? And so from there, there's like people who are much better and whatnot, right? So,
確かになんか日本人のスタート地点というか歌が普通に歌えれば音程が取れてからスタートみたいなところあるけど、海外の人は音程取れたらお上手やんみたいな
right.
ちょっとなるかも。
Yeah, that's like
So,
for a person overseas, like if you can sing on key, it's like, oh my god, amazing. Yeah, I think it's like if you have the confidence to sing, that one point is kind of like, oh, good job, buddy. But then like as soon as you can sing well, it's like, oh, this person's.
To access the nearest karaoke place from my house, I would have to travel at least like 40 minutes to go to a karaoke box to some random like I don't know Korean shop or like some Chinese place that offers karaoke. right? But in Japan, you walk outside and there's a jankata next to another karaoke place. There's just accessible, right?
And they're cheap too.
Even in Japan, there's a lot of people who go to karaoke by themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Right?
To like practice.
To practice or like maybe to like let out their stress, right? So maybe Japanese people have more time to practice.
Yeah.
日本のカラオケのイメージじゃなくて、アメリカとかはカラオケバーのイメージって。
方が多い
Right,
ですよね。
right. Like you're saying, the karaoke bar, a lot of times you have to perform in front of people, right? You don't have like a personal box, right? Like
No,
there's
yeah.
like, in front of the bar, there's like a small stage, and if you want to do karaoke, they get up there and they're like, I'm really drunk, and that's why I'm going to do this kind of thing. It's like you can only do it if you're just wasted.
Yeah, you're right. There's a stage in American karaoke bar. You're on the spotlight.
Yeah, and
Right.
everyone's looking at you.
Everyone's
if you
looking at
suck, people are gonna be like, you suck.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
terrible.
You must have a lot of confidence. Just
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
海外はカラオケをする文化っていうのはそもそもないから練習する場所がなくて日本人は若い頃からずーっと行ってるから上手のスタンダードが全然違うってことね。
そうね。
はい、カラオケが上手でした。次、字が綺麗。
Ah,
Yes,
okay. I agree with
absolutely.
this.
本当？
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
For sure,
変え
man.
てみ
We have a pen.
Wow. They have an
There
apple?
just happened to be a pen.
ちょっと僕字マジで汚いから。
We'll do an experiment. We'll make you write in Japanese and then write, something in English, right? And see what the G の綺麗さ。
紙とペン用意しましたけど。
はい。ジャパニーズでお願いしますって書いて
あ
Ramen.
綺麗やん。
あ、やばい。やばい。お願いします。
はい。
Oh, that's
綺麗です
yeah, that's
Thank you.
kidding. Yeah.
Very
I would
good.
say
いや、めっちゃ汚い。
Okay.
僕のやつ見る
Like the O katachi is exactly what you would see on a kyoka show when you're trying to learn the hiragana, right?
Yes, yes.
This space here is small, this
The
one
angle is
is big.
perfect too.
Right.
いや、ちょっと待って。多分ね、今コメント欄に、こんなんで綺麗って言わないで。本当に僕字汚いんで、すみません。それは謝っておきますね。
Now, next. My name is Fuji. There you go.
Oh wow.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
My
okay.
name is Fuji. いや、これはさ、
You wanna see mine? You wanna see mine?
Well, if we all write it normally, yours is going to be the most.
本当に
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's all write it.
Yours is definitely the most intelligible, I think.
書いて。
Okay.
いや、バイラはなんか字汚そうやけど。
Mine is Byron.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, you could write it too. Here, go
Oh my
ahead.
god, mine's terrible.
Go ahead.
Alright.
It's like a doctor's signature. Yeah.
It's because I'm an academic.
これ僕出されても読めないわ。
Right?
イズとかも
No, that's is.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
キノコにしか見えない。
He wrote an I. There's a dot.
There's a
there.
dot.
There's a dot.
There's like a
い
bit of
や、いいよ、じゃ
a
あ、
squiggle.
愛はまだいいとしよう。S は何なのこれ。
There's the
There's
S.
a tail.
There's a tail. There's a tail. By context, by boomyaku, name what goes in the middle of Aaron is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
あ、そこはハイコンテクストじゃない
In this way, we are very high context.
なるほどね。
It's not even cursive.
Yeah.
Cursive is even worse. That's terrible.
I don't know, because like in Romania, everyone writes in cursive. So like the possibility of having a writing that it's hard to read, it's I think even higher.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I guess because in Japan it's kind of normal to have shodo classes, and it's like it's not unusual to take those classes. Whereas like if you do calligraphy in Western countries, like you're a nerd. You're kind of weird for doing that.
中国文化はカリグラフィーやってるけど字が汚いです。
日本は書き順みたいなのをちゃんと小学校1年生2年生とかでずっとやって、しかも止めとか羽とかも間違ってたら先生にバツってされる、そういうのってある？
When I was a kid, I used to write like my K's. Let's say that this is a lowercase k. I used to write my K's like this.
On
I
R.
used to write like that, and then it was like a small K, and then they would like say like this is wrong. But then they wouldn't go like if you wrote a K like that, it's still a K.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as it looks
As
kind
long
of
as
like
it looks
yeah.
like it, and as long as you tried, you put an effort to kind of make it. Like if I wrote my B like this, it looked like 13. That's a B.
Yeah, that's still.
Yeah,
That's a B.
still a B.
例えば「い」とかだったら、この羽の部分はちゃんとこう先端が細くなるように書かないといけないし、そこと書いてないけどつながったさっきのこっちが始まるみたいな、なんかそういうのを授業でやるよね。そこまで厳しくないってことね。
そこまで厳しくない。
It was crazy because like I would see some of my Japanese students' homework, and then like their teachers would be like saying, "Hey, you wrote R wrong," or like you wrote like M wrong, like it's too big or it's like too small, and they would get checked. I'm like, "You're so strict. That's an M. That's an M. Why are you giving them off points for writing like a perfect letter?"
読めばいいでしょ。
Yeah, I can read it. I live in America. I could read this. Don't mark them off for being wrong.
If you have a P like this, you need to make sure that this line goes all the way down here and that this curve is at the bottom here. But if you go like this, that's like boo.
Yeah, you can't.
Or
do
like
that.
like that. They'll be very
No.
unhappy with that. That's called dancing letters. They don't like that. That's what I was told in grade 4. Aaron, you have dancing letters. So like, yeah, if you have this type of thing where it's like below the line, that's a boo-boo. They'd be very upset with you. But in terms of like how the letter looks, as long as you can read it, oh, this is probably an A. This is probably an X or something.
なるほどね。
Yeah.
日本語だったら漢字はちょっと大きめに書いて、ひらがなはちょっと小さめに書くみたいな、そういうのもまあ特になくて、このルールに沿っといたら大丈夫だよ的な感じなんや。
Right. So because you practice hiragana and kanji from such a young age and like very, very strictly, I think that translates over into when Japanese students learn to write the alphabet, right? Because they already have this idea that, okay, writing has to be neat. Writing has to follow certain criteria. It has to be, look a certain way. Even kids who are as young as like grade 3 or 4, they start writing the alphabet. Sure, it looks like a kid writing it, but it's still pretty clean for an 8-year-old. And I think that's incredible, right? And so that's why people, they grow up into adults, right? And they have beautiful writing compared to degenerates like us who can't write in our own language neatly. So that's
But that's the thing. Here's the thing. We can write so terribly that we now know what the other person is thinking. It's like if you can write chicken scratch, you can now read chicken scratch. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive though.
Yeah, because like a lot of the times at my old school, they were like, "Oh, what did this teacher write, Byron? I can't read this English." I'm like, "Oh, I can read that easily." He was just correcting the student's paper. It's like, "Oh, thanks."
Right. I think like the main thing in English is as long as the first letter and the last letter are readable to an extent, it's kind of it's probably this word. You kind of guess that's this word.
Yeah.
字が綺麗でした。
はい。
次、
はい。
列に並ぶ。
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Here's where I learned it: Disneyland. I learned it there because, all right, let's say you go to Disneyland in California, right? The maximum time I will wait for a ride is probably an hour. Maybe an hour 30 is even pushing it. I wouldn't go past an hour and 30 minutes. I go to Japan. The first thing I see on the longest ride at like Disney Sea, 180 minutes, right? 180 minutes. That's like 3 hours. I'm gonna wait 3 hours for a ride, and then on top of that, even though that is 3 hours, it's packed.
Yeah.
The line is packed. It's like swerving like all over. Like the line is super, super long, and people are still waiting. I'm just like, wow, Japanese people are so impressive. They're gonna waste 3 hours of the whole day just waiting for this one ride.
And on top of that, because usually in Romania, when people have to wait that long in a line, you will hear from all directions like complaints of people like, oh, why are they making us wait so long? Why is it taking them so long? They're not doing their job properly, man. Oh my god, this is so hard right now in here. Why do I have to wait this long in this heat because of this?
It's the same in the States. Like if you are standing in a line for a long time, you'll find anything to complain about until you get to the front, and then at the front you're like, ah, finally! And you'll say it. You won't say it kokoro no naka, like Japanese people. You'll say, oh, Jesus Christ, I can finally ride this ride.
And you'll make some sort of like backhand compliment to the staff, like, you guys were really busy today, eh? Or something.
Yeah.
ディズニーランドは結構特殊な例じゃん。
そうそうそう。
じゃあご飯屋さんとかどうなの？
絶対に並ばない。
Now, how far is the nearest McDonald's? That's what I would think. Especially when I see a long line for like ramen or something. I just did it yesterday, you know? I was like, maybe I'm gonna get some Ichiran tonight for Sunday. And then look at the Ichiran like, how much Ichiran? 1時間です. Nope. Wendy's, let's go.
まあいいかって感じで
Yeah.
そうなんや。
なるよ。
It's also because like when you see a line at the restaurant, the first thing that comes to your mind is like, I'm not waiting a whole hour for this thing. Like there's other restaurants around there. Whereas for Japanese people, you know, you would walk together and it's like, あ、それめっちゃ並んでる。絶対に美味しい。行こう。And it's like,
Oh.
no, I'm not going.
でもさ、並んでたらやっぱりみんな並ぶほど美味しいはずだって。
No.
Definitely, like if people are lining up, it's like, hey, this place must be a big deal.
Must be something.
Must be something worth waiting for. But yeah, no.
Like,
I think it also plays into the culture of eating out because like Japan just eats out way more often than other countries, I would say. Like in Europe, it's very unusual to go to a restaurant without making a reservation ahead. But like in Japan, there's a lot of restaurants when you go in, stay for just 30 minutes, maybe 1 hour, and then you get out.
Yeah.
That's why like making a reservation doesn't really pan out, so they don't take reservations and people just line up. But like in Europe, if you go to a restaurant, you want to enjoy your time. The average time spent at the restaurants in Europe, I would say it's at least 3 hours.
3 hours for a dinner.
It's a whole social event. It's not just you're going out just to eat. Because you don't go out to eat that often anyway.
ちなみにさ、電車とかにも並んだりするじゃん。
okay.
あれはどう思う？
すごいね。自分の国にもそうしてほしいね。
It's made me imagine like these like non-existent walls. I'm like, oh, I can't cross this wall. I have to go inside here. You know?
Right.
I've never made that connection before.
They have markers on the ground, right? Where it's like, please line up here, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't have that much experience with subways in Canada, but as far as I know, it's kind of like, here's the door area.
To each their own.
Yeah, go in when you can.
Think for yourself.
Every man for himself.
Sure.
でもここにさ、電車、扉、ここ待つところがあるとするなら、どうやって待つ？
Oh, I have a good example. Have you ever seen the movie Titanic? Yeah, and then it was sinking. That's exactly how people line up. It's like, oh no, abandoned ship! Get the women and the children, put them on the boats. That's how people line up for trains.
そうみんな適当に待ってて電車が来たらみんないきなりパーンって戦って入ります。
それでも並んでる方がストレス少なくない？絶対自分は3番目だって分かるじゃん。
That's the thing. Only one person out of 100 is going to think like that. And the 99% of people are not going to think like the way that is much simpler to do. Every person for themselves.
That's why you end up having to fight for everything, even if some people think that way. The majority doesn't. So you have to.
Yes. And that's why people go to the gym, so you can be able to push people out of the way much easier.
はい、皆さんは並びましょうね。で、列に並ぶということでした。はい、次。人とぶつからない。
Oh yeah! You know what they're also good at? They're also good at dodging. They're not good at like, you know, bumping into people, but they're also good. I got so much better like in Tokyo because like I pretty much go to work in the Manin Decha, right? And if people are like trying to like run into me, I've gotten good like or even at the Shibuya Scramble, you know, that's like one of the most congested places, and you have to think about the amount of tourists that are going, right? And then the amount of people that need to get to work or people who are in a hurry. It's very, very crowded, but you know, you rarely see people bumping into anybody else, you know? Because generally, I feel like Japanese people are just good at just like, you know, stoic face and they're good at dodging.
Because it seems like for like the Shibuya Scramble thing, like when you're waiting, you already have like a destination in mind, right?
Yeah.
Everyone kind of picks, right? And they just go, and like somehow it all fits together. It's kind of incredible.
Right. 海外の人はその混んでる場所だったらどうやって歩くの？
Well, it's because we don't really have that situation because it's too hiroi. Yeah, it's just like you see store aisles at Walmart. That's like 3 times the size of a Japanese konbini, right? So it's like you don't.
Single aisle is.
Yeah, you don't really like bump into people. The only places where I see people bumping into somebody is like at a music festival, but it's still them. Like you just push everybody out of your way.
僕とかが歩いてると多分他の日本人もそうだと思うんだけど、この前から来た人は右に行くのか左に行くのかっていうのを体のその方向で意思表示を受け取るんだよまず。あ、この人はこっちに曲がりたいんだな、だから僕はこっちに避けようみたいな、こういうなんかのをやってるみんなで。そういう考え方ない？
No, we don't have that. Instead, like this is what happens. So like let's say I bump into Aaron, poof, and then if we bump into each other, it can either go one or two ways. I can say, "Oh man, oh, sorry about that, Aaron. I didn't mean to bump into you." And you,
no worries, buddy,
no worries, yeah, right? Or I can bump into him and go, "You got a problem? You got a problem? You got a problem?
What's going on, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to be the one who gets out of the way.
なんていうの、海外でわざとやらない人がいるでしょ。
どういうこと？
まあこちら避けるつもりだって、でもその向こうが
そう。
あ、そういうこと。こっちが避けるから、めっちゃ嫌なやつじゃんそれ。
そうめっちゃ嫌な結構いる。
日本人のイメージは半分ずつ譲ったら通れるよねみたいな考えあるかもしれない。
You know the game Chicken?
Yeah, game of chicken. Game
You know
theory.
the game Chicken? So I think typically it's done in cars, right? You have two cars driving each other, and whoever goes away words is the loser. This is chicken. This one wins.
Yeah, you're chicken. Yeah.
So kind of, like, walking is the same thing. You're walking. Whoever gets out of the way is the loser, right? So everyday life is a battle for
Correct.
Kaigai.
誰と戦ってんのそれ？
Everyone. If you're a chicken, you're a loser.
So for what you just said is now the Hamun one is the best paid off for both sides. So for one, if he doesn't want to give up his what do you call that?
Lane.
He will get the best benefit, but at least you get the worst payoff.
Yeah. So
You
like, yeah.
only can win by stomping on others to get to the top.
Exactly. The true American way.
そこは全く理解できないですけど思うのはパーソナルスペースがさ日本人の方が広い。
ああ、確かに。
ハグとかしないじゃん。だ
あ
から結構人と人との距離が
確かに
遠いかなと思うよね。だから遠いから自分のこのパーソナルスペースに入ってちょっとでも来ようものならあやばっって先に動くかもしれない。
レイダーね。
そうそうレイダーはあるかも。ということで人とぶつからないでした。次テレパシーができる。いやわからんこれ僕なんかわかんないんだけどどういうこと？
ハイコンテクストカルチャー。だからみんなお互いの何も言ってないのに、あるいは何か言ってるけど欲しいものを言ってないのに欲しいものが伝わるみたいな。
あーそういうこと？
バイロ
座った
テレパシー。
例えばどういうこと？
例えばこれお願いします。
This please.
This please.
よく使えるね。これお願いしますって。あ、はい、わかりましたって。
何がわかる？
いや、それはその時の状況で違うんだよ。カレー作ってて、玉ねぎお願いって言われたら、あ、はいっつってみじん切りにしていくじゃん。それは一緒じゃないの
Can you julienne this onion for me, please? Thanks.
いやちゃんと言わんと。
Yeah, you have to be specific.
指示。
Yeah.
あ、そうね。じゃあその場合なんて言うの
Can you cut this onion for me, please?
あ、そう。そんなちゃんと言わないといけないんだ。
Yeah. What do you want me to do with this? You want me to boil it? You want me to grill it?
Give it a rub on the head.
Yeah.
Put it to bed. What do you want to do with it?
You want me to cry with it? What do you want me to do with it?
暗い水っておかしい。
外国人の目線で見たら日本人がみんなテラペチ持ってるから外人があんまりなくて会議の時にみんなそういうお願いしますってよろしく言ったら外人の耳で聞いたら何っていう今感じますよ。
あ、じゃあまだ1対1とかだったらなんかわかるけどそのみんなのこの当たり前でしょみたいな前提が会議だと全く分かんなくなるから
分かりますね。
じゃあこれ明日の9時までに皆さんお願いしますって言うと
何の話？
テレパシーができるでした。次
Yes.
健康で長生き。
Oh.
Yeah.
Quite. Quite, yes.
If you refer to the Wikipedia article that I linked in the
かっこつけてウィキペディア
in the list of how many people is there? 100 people, 100 oldest people ever. A good proportion of them are all Japanese people.
Yeah.
And so if you break it down by percentages, the US has the most people on the list, but the US also has 300 million people in the world, in the country, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Japan only has like 120. Given that proportion, Japan has a lot compared to.
すごい。これすごいね。だってさ、長生きランキングの100位があって、そのうち25人が日本人。
Yeah.
やばい。
That's crazy.
70億いいんです
そう、70億で1億だから、もうすごっ。
まあ理由は多分、個人の考えなんだけど、日本人は基本みんな health conscious。
ああ、そういうこと。健康に対する意識が高い。
意識が高いですね。
I have a question. Like for people who are over the age of like 70 or 80, are they usually bedridden in Japan?
No.
No, you
Are they
can see them
walking?
in the street.
They're like walking, right?
Yes.
They're still like
They're out in the
going-
fields working hard.
Yeah.
山登ったりするよ。
Yeah.
For
Oh.
example, I knew this Oji-san who is about 90 years old.
Yeah.
We just celebrated his birthday like 1 month ago, I think. He still go fishing, hunting wild boars,
Oh my god.
hiking.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I feel like they just live very active lifestyles, right?
Yes,
Because we
yes.
have a lot of people in like the West who go to either like a care home or like they're bedridden. You know,
Yeah.
like my grandma was bedridden when she passed away. Bless her soul. But you know, she just didn't work out anymore. She just didn't like do any physical activity. So I think it's like very good that Japanese people still care about their health even at 90 years old. Like they're still trying to like live their lives and therefore they're living to over like 100 years old. Right?
健康に対しての意識が違うなって思うことあったりする？
I mean, those options are readily available at the convenience stores, right? Because we don't have a chicken bar at the 7-Eleven. We don't have like sarada chicken like readily available at the market.
そうなんだ。あれ？
日本来て初めて見たんですよ。
I can trust Japan since they have checks and balances. So okay, I'll have a chicken bar.
いや、確かに日本もちょっと前までコンビニのご飯は少しジャンクかなみたいなイメージがあったんだけど、ここ何年かでチキンバーとかが健康なものも売ってるよみたいなイメージに変わってきたかもしれない。
But even like originally though, konbini always sold onigiri, right? Right, but like onigiri in and of itself is pretty good.
Yeah.
In terms of like health food, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's just rice and maybe fish or something like that. Onigiri in and of itself is already pretty healthy as it is, right? So it comparatively, right? So that type of food is readily available, like you were saying, to anyone. Whereas like if you want to buy like something really quick and easy in the West, it's like you have fast food and that's it. Like you don't have these like ready-made bento with like
True.
a little bit of salad with a bit of fish here and like the rice and all that stuff. Like it's a pretty balanced meal you can get from the konbini bento. Right?
I think it's all about the accessibility of it, right? Like you can get it anywhere that you, any konbini that you go to has a ready-made salad, right?
Yeah.
Like if you want like a salad in the States, you have to go to like a restaurant or you have to go to a grocery store. You have to go to Trader Joe's to buy a salad. And
So it costs so much money too for like the salad bar or whatever.
right, exactly. And then if you get a salad from McDonald's, it still has the same amount of fat as a Big Mac. So it's like why? So like why get a salad at a fast food place to begin with if the dressing is going to be that fatty?
コンビニでサラダ買うみたいな文化がないんだ。
Oh, well, they just don't sell it.
No salad.
Yeah,
No edible salad, for that matter.
There's no salad, period.
Yeah.
Not only the environment factor, I would say. Sometimes I was thinking that Japanese people themselves, they have very high awareness of their own health. As in, they are very aware of what the day they have ate, so they will try to rebalance their diet. For example, if they eat a lot of junk food, they will say, 今日ジャンキー食べ過ぎたら、じゃあ今晩サラダ食べましょう。意思が乗ってるんですよ。基本マレーシア人だったら今夜サッパーどこに行こうかなっていうすぐ考えちゃう。
プラスマイナスあんましないってこと？
そうしない。
魚を食べるとかっていう文化もそこまでないじゃん。その揚げてない魚を食べるっていう文化があんまないでしょ。日本人だったらそのジャンキーなもの食べ過ぎたな、じゃあ夜はお魚食べようかなってやったりするけど、サラダとお魚みたいな。
I also think that Japanese people are more willing to kind of talk about their health on a general level. Like for example,
腰痛い痛い。
yeah, 腰痛い or お腹痛い or something like that. Right. So I think especially when it comes to like gastrointestinal health or whatever, there's no shyness about toilet talk.
Yes, true.
If you,
They talk about this.
if you know what I mean. Because I think a lot of people in the West, they're kind of like ashamed or like embarrassed.
so
embarrassed,
Gross.
embarrassed about like toilet business.
なんで
Smells bad.
Smells bad or it's embarrassing. Like, oh, this person.
It's part of me that I have lost every day.
Yeah, right. But like, I think the fact they're willing to talk about intimate health issues like that, it makes people more aware of what is happening in their own body. I think.
ということで健康で長生きでした。
Yeah.
はい、ということで今日は外国人が驚く日本人が得意なことを話してみました。
得意ですか？
文化とか多分教育とかの違いで当たり前だなって思ってることが全然当たり前じゃないのはなんか違いがあって面白いなと思ったから。
長生きが当たり前ということ。
Of course you're.
そうです。だって普通にみんなのなんかおばあちゃんとか90何歳とか普通にいっぱいいるから、そう長生きするのはなんか結構当たり前の感覚はあるかな。で逆に日本人できないなって思ってるような話も今度聞いてみたいなと思ったから、もしあれば。
短い生き。
短い生き
短い
短命
短命か。
他に皆さんが考える日本人が得意なことがあればコメント欄まで書いてください。
Oh, I know that they're gonna type there what they're good at.
他に僕らにトークしてほしいトピックがあればそちらもコメント欄までよろしくお願いします。
Nice comments, please.
それでは次の動画でまたお会いしましょう。バイバーイ。チャンネル
登録
お願い
します。